Good morning everyone, my name is Liz and I welcome you to the Mix and Bowl Homestead. Today I'm going to be making some salsa. Now this is a mild flavor salsa and these are the ingredients that you're going to need. 15 cups of cored, peel and chopped Roma tomatoes, 5 cups of Char tomatoes, and that is optional. If you decide not to char your tomatoes, then you're going to need a total of 20 cups of cored, peel and chopped Roma tomatoes, 6 cups of chopped onions, 2 cups of chopped bell peppers. You can increase the amount but do not exceed 4 cups. 1 habanero pepper. You can also use poblano or jalapeno peppers, and you can use the amount that you would like for the amount of heat that you can take. But 1 habanero pepper is sufficient to make this quantity of salsa a mild salsa. 2 cups of lemon juice. It must be bottled lemon juice. 4 tablespoons of chopped cilantro, 4 to 6 garlic cloves, mashed or chopped, 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. Any salt without additives is okay. 2 tablespoons of finely chopped black pepper. In addition, you also want to have your jar lifter, your magnet lifter, and your debubbler, of course. My tacita de café Duran, my little Panamanian Duran coffee. I am using new jars, new lids, new rings. Alright guys, so to begin, I have all of my jars submerged in hot water and they're going to remain here during the process while I am chopping all of my vegetables and getting my salsa ready. Now if you have a water bath canner, go ahead and use that. I don't have one, so I just use this large stock pot and it does the same thing. You just have to make sure that you have a rack at the bottom separating the jars from the pot, from the element itself, from the pot itself. If not, your jars could crack. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start chopping my vegetables and getting everything ready. Okay, so what I'm doing now is cutting both ends of the tomatoes, and I need to sharpen my knife. Oh, this one won't do it. So basically, I'm just cutting the ends of the tomatoes. I've already washed my tomatoes. And nothing goes to waste, you guys. So I have this bucket here, and that is for my compost. So I'll go ahead and cut all of the ends of the tomatoes and then show you the next step, which is to grab the tomatoes and put them in boiling water, and then take them out of the boiling water and put them into ice cold water, and that will be to remove the peel of the tomatoes. Now I am reserving half of the tomatoes. This one had a little blemish, so I cut it off. I am reserving half of the tomatoes because I am going to char a few of them. I just like that char flavor in my salsa. Okay, so for the next step, I'm going to be putting the tomatoes into the boiling water, and they're going to remain here for about 45 seconds to less than 1 minute. Then immediately transfer them into this ice cold water, and all I have here is just some ice packs to make the water cold. Okay, so let's begin. So I'm going to be using this spider strainer to help me to lower the tomatoes into the water because tomatoes are a little bit heavy and I don't want to get splashed. And the water is boiling. Okay, I'm going to start taking my tomatoes out of the water and putting them into the ice cold water. Okay, so removing the skin of the tomatoes is very easy once they have been through the water bath. All you do is literally just peel the skin back and just save it for save it for if you want to dehydrate the skin and turn it into a powder. Now, if some of the skins are a little bit hotter than others, you can use a knife to remove the skin. But for the most part, you're going to find that the skin is very easy to remove. We've already done the rest of the tomatoes, except for those that I'm going to char. Okay, so then to remove the core of the tomato, you're just going to cut it in half. And you're just going to remove this part of the tomato. Make sure that you don't slice your finger. So be very careful. I use this small little knife pretty much to cut everything. And you see how stained it is from cutting all of the tomatoes. And then we're just going to give it a rough chop. It doesn't have to be perfect because they're going to they're going to get smaller during the cooking process and in the canning process. Now this tomato, for example, I'm going to remove all of this. Now you can take out all of the seeds if you like. I don't find it necessary. As long as I remove the core and peel them, then I'm okay with that. I'm using Roma tomatoes because they have less water than all the other tomatoes. They're more meaty than other tomatoes, but still they have a lot of juice, especially when they are very ripe like these ones. And that's why I prefer to use a plate when I'm cutting, because of all the juice. I find that when I'm using my cutting table, it's just a mess, just tomato juice everywhere. So I prefer to use a plate. Now, if you can see, I have all the other tomatoes here, and they are in this fine mesh colander. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the tomatoes in this colander to remove most of the juice. Now, we've already chopped all of the other ingredients. Okay, you guys, so remember that I said we were going to char some of the tomatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and use my cazuela. This is what we call it in my country. Somewhere else it might be called something different, but we call it cazuela. So I'm going to go ahead and place my tomatoes, and it's already hot. I'm just going to place a few tomatoes here, and I'm also going to place my garlic. Now with the garlic, you have to be careful so it doesn't burn. Right, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove my garlic. Make sure that your windows are open and that you're doing this when there is a little breeze, or that you have a fan that might be blowing the smoke out through your window, your kitchen window or something, or that you have a air purifier running. I do have my air purifier running because this smokes. If you can do it outdoors, better, but you can skip this part. I just like that flavor for some reason. Okay, my tomatoes are almost ready. You guys, this is especially good when you're making fresh salsa, like to eat the same day. You can really, really, really taste this flavor, and especially the garlic. Roasting them like this, I don't know. I just think it just gives it a very good flavor. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this off and wait for them to cool off a little bit, and then we're going to chop them up and get to the next point. Okay guys, so we're gonna start adding our ingredients. Some people like to add oregano and cumin. I don't like it. And for heat, I'm using 1 habanero pepper, and that is the amount of heat that for this quantity of salsa that I can take. You can change that, and you can add jalapeno, or you can add poblano peppers, whatever other pepper that you would like, to the heat tolerance that you can take. I just can't take a whole lot. So we are going to go ahead and get started adding our ingredients. Now you guys, I did not add all the juice that came with the tomatoes. I actually took that out, and I'm going to can those separately with my tomato juice, or we can drink it right now, whichever way you prefer. But this is going to create its own juice, and I don't want my salsa to be too watery, so that's the reason why I took out this juice. I'm going to leave for last the cilantro, the black pepper, and the salt. So first I'm adding the tomatoes, onions, bell pepper, garlic, and habanero, and I'm going to bring that to boil, and I'm going to be stirring it frequently to make sure that it doesn't burn. And I'm going to do that for about 10 12 minutes. I'm going to turn my heat on high. And these are the other 5 cups of the roasted tomatoes and my onions. My bell peppers. My garlic and my habanero. I'm going to be using a wooden spoon to mix it, and I'm going to bring this to a boil. You guys take a look at how much juice this has already. Whoops, you guys are getting all foggy here. Let me clean you all up. But take a look at how much juice, tomato juice, this has released. So that is the reason why I need to back up a little bit. And that is the reason why I removed some of the juice before I started boiling this. Alright guys, so our salsa has begun to boil, so we're going to add the cilantro, the pepper, that's 2 tablespoons of pepper, and 2 tablespoons of salt. You can use pickling salt or pink Himalayan salt or any other salt that you like. You can adjust the salt if you like, but 2 tablespoons should be good enough for this amount. Now we're going to reduce the heat and allow it to simmer covered for 10 minutes. Alright you guys, so at this point our salsa is ready, and we can turn the stove off and take a look at the salsa. Well, it looks like it's kind of hard to see because all of the steam coming out. So let's go turn off the stove and our timer, and we're going to begin filling our jars. We're going to fill our jars, leaving ½ an inch space. I'm going to debubble, clean the rim with our vinegar. You guys, these jars are hot. Place our lid, place our band, finger tight, and into the counter. Grab another jar and do the same thing. Fill up the jar. Remember to leave ½ an inch space. Clean your rim with your vinegar. Place the lid. And you guys see, I ended up with 2. So just make sure you only have 1. Put your bands, finger tight, and into the canner. Get another jar. Repeat the same steps. Okay, so I'll bring it back when all the jars are in the canner. Alright guys, so I went ahead and put the lid on both of the pots. The smaller pot, since I don't have a rack that can fit at the bottom, I just literally grab some foil and scrunch it up together and put it at the bottom with a double layer. And then that particular small pot has, I believe, only 4 jars. So alright you guys, so both canners are at a rolling boil, so I'm gonna go ahead and start my timer for 15 minutes, and in 15 minutes the processing time will be done. Okay guys, our canners are about to go off, and they're gonna leave that tamborito alone. They're just over here, you know, hitting them drums. Sounds like drums going off. I'm just gonna turn off the stove, turn off the heat, and we're just gonna leave them there until they stop boiling and the water have come down. We don't want to take them out just yet, because if we take them out, you know, we could run the risk of siphoning, and it could potentially break the seal of the jar. So we don't want to work so hard only to have, you know, our jars not sealed properly. So we're gonna allow them to rest there a minute. 15 minutes go by really fast, you guys. So well, at least for my altitude, it's 15 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and start prepping the area where I'm going to place my jars. And I don't want to put the hot jars in a cold counter, so I'm just gonna put in this old towel where they're gonna be resting there for 24 hours. And there you go guys, we ended up with 11 pint-sized jars of salsa. And now for the moment of truth. Let's taste our salsa. Now I've made this salsa before, but I've never canned it, so that's what I want to see. If it's gonna taste as good as when it's fresh. You guys, this is absolutely delicious. I'm double dipping, but this is gonna be my personal one, okay? You want some? There you go. This is absolutely delicious. Never in my life will I buy another jar of salsa. I know I can can this now. I'll never buy another one. I'm going to place a video above so that you can check out how we're going to use our chunky salsa with tonight's dinner. We are having tacos. Thank you for watching the Mix and Bowl Homestead. If you like our video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.